Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We've got one last game coming up today, and we've been cycling co-casters like crazy.
Whew.
First K-Poptosis, then a game with Fear, and now we've got Gods. A little bit bummed, no offense, Gods, that Fear couldn't cast this game, but we realized he's actually sitting next to Universe, so maybe casting the game Universe is playing in might not be the best idea.
Yeah, there's definitely some conflict of interest. Fear casting his own team. $200,000 in prize money up for grabs in Starladder now.
It might have been okay if Fear was not living at the house, but the fact that during that game we could hear Universe yelling about the Cloud9 series that they were in, so they're within audible distance of one another. So can't blame him for backing out of that one. But was a good time. You got here just in time. We've got EG versus Osiris here.
A cool match. Looking at the standings, EG pretty much 100% undefeated. You can't be pretty much undefeated. You either are or you aren't. They're 5-0. They're guaranteed a spot in the playoffs as a revenge at this point. But Osiris are one of the three teams I want to say on the edge right now. Liquid as well as Dog, both 3-3 now, with both losing today. So Liquid and Dog are 3-3. It hasn't updated yet on the standings, I don't believe. But
yes,
Osiris have 3 wins as well. So even if they lose this game to EG, they go into the final day tied 3-3 as well. And I believe their last match is maybe against Liquid or something. But
yes,
with the way Liquid been playing, it's like, who knows? Maybe they can win.
For the last day, Liquid is playing against Team Dog. It's Osiris versus EHUG.
Oh, that'll be a huge final day, because if let's say Osiris loses, there's going to be 3 teams tied 3-3. So if Osiris beat EHUG, they're in the playoffs, and then the Dog versus Liquid match will decide the 4th spot for the playoffs.
Yeah, so we could be looking at a pretty interesting tie-break scenario.
That'd be an exciting final day.
The only teams that are definitely in are EG and Revenge at this point. It's safe to say 5-0. There's no way EG could lose the remainder of their games, 2 games left, and still be 5-2, and they'll make it into the top 4.
Yeah.
So
same for Osiris. Same for Revenge.
Yeah. So we'll see if this affects the draft at all, and not in the sense that EG won't take this game seriously, but more so in the sense that, they may experiment a little bit
Osiris
more.
is a good team, man. I rate these guys. I put them above a team like EHUG, not just to discredit EHUG or anything, but I think Osiris are a really promising team from the matches we've seen.
Yeah.
They had the one game against Dignitas, which it really looked like they were going to lose, but somehow ended up winning, which was a bit of a, Osiris a bit shaky at times, but they've had some big wins as well.
And to reiterate for those that might not be aware, Dignitas is no longer. They have disbanded, so the remaining matches that would have been against Team Dignitas are forfeits, free win.
Okay.
So it's always unfortunate when that happens, when there's a team that disbands in the middle of a group format, because it makes that imbalance where teams that have now lost to Dignitas,
I don't think they won any. They're 0-7.
Oh, they were totally 0-7. Okay, well, I take that.
Their last match was going to be up against CNB, I want to say.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, I think it's CNB. So I think CNB end 3-4. So they actually ended up all right.
Yeah, and EHUG are, I guess now.
EHUG got 2-4 now.
Now 2-4 since they won today. So it's looking pretty grim.
We could theoretically see a tie for 4th place with teams who are 3-4. So CNB could still sneak in with like a 3-way tie for 4th place or something, I want to say.
Yeah, and EHUG would be in there as well. So
yeah. It's a lot that can happen this final day. And the cool thing about the final day is, on top of all these matches to determine who goes through, we have an EG versus Revenge matchup.
Yeah.
To decide who gets first place. Because if Revenge have a loss to Liquid, but if Revenge beat EHUG, they're tied 6-1, and Revenge win them head-to-head, so they would get the #1 seed in the playoffs.
Yes, that's true. So it should be interesting. And here, of course, Fear is not playing. He's still resting that RSI. And I suppose I should update the overlay here. And of course, Justin is not standing in. I always forget to use this thing. But it will be Mason standing in for Fear here on the side of EG.
Whew. How's your day been, Andrew?
It's been good. It's been it's long but spread out. We had our 3 games this morning were pretty one-sided. It was the lower-seeded teams versus the higher-seeded teams. We saw Alliance, Fnatic, and Sigma against Ahead and Aware. So very one-sided games this morning. Then we had a long break, and then an interesting game with Fear, and now here we are. So it's sort of been a long day, but not really at the same time.
But, look at like the hours where you actually spent casting. It's like, okay, that was maybe 4 or 5 games, which each lasted like 30 minutes at most.
Yep, spent a lot of time DJing today. Let me put it that way. But this EG draft looking pretty solid. They've got Naga Siren first pick on the Radiant side. That's usually Arteezy's bread and butter for a Radiance Naga, having that little camp there right near the Tier 1 tower. Makes that whole strategy just a little bit easier. If they pressure your lane, if you fall on hard times, you can just retreat to that camp, stack it up, and clear it out with Riptides pretty easily.
Yep. Osiris have got a Nature's Prophet AA, so 2 heroes with global ultis, something which actually can synergize quite nicely as far as catching heroes by surprise. You think you're sitting nice and healthy on 2/3 HP, suddenly there's a Prophet ulti and AA ulti hitting you, and like just one other hero from like with a long range initiation. That's where you ban out the Storm and Spectre. Storm actually it synergizes really well with these global ganking heroes because of his ulti. So much better than getting something like a Zeus. Like people are like, oh, go global strike, get a Zeus. Zeus is not a good hero. Well, he's not terrible. I don't want to say he
does a lot of damage,
viable.
but that's it. I mean, he has obviously no crowd controls. He's very easy to lock down. He's pretty slow. He's not really that tanky.
Yeah. He's like why would you pick Zeus when there's a Storm Spirit still in the pool or a Puck still in the pool?
Or even if you want to go more atypical, I think Queen of Pain achieves the similar feat to Zeus except global, but still she does a lot of damage except she has the escape mechanism of a blink.
Yep.
And still does a lot of magical damage. So yeah, Zeus is just not really an ideal pick in most cases.
Osiris get themselves the Earthshaker support, so I expect we see the Earthshaker trying to pull off some shenanigans in the early stage of the game, try and redirect creep waves to the Dire Ancients, or just other Dire neutral spots. You don't normally pick up this hero just with the idea in mind, like, okay, Earthshaker's just going to be a support with Fission. Normally, nowadays, you see it using those little Ancient tricks. Yeah,
the Ancient trick, and I always think of Earthshaker as just a good turtler. He's a hard hero to push into because you usually have all those creeps as you're moving into the to break the high ground, and that's the bread and butter, to use that term again here in the draft, for a big Echo Slam.
You're making me hungry, Andrew.
Yeah, I know. I'm getting hungry myself. I'm munching on pizza all day, and AA as well. So Osiris do have a team that's reasonably difficult to push into.
Yeah,
so far at least.
Alrighty.
But that's all right. I think EG will be okay with that because they don't seem to have a very push-intensive lineup. They'll be looking for space of their own to get that Naga radius.
Get Naga rich, and once Naga's fat enough, like you can have good anti-push, but Naga will just be too tanky, too big to fail. And
yeah,
for EG, this is pretty solid so far. You've got the Nyx who can be your offlaner, generally speaking, but if they want to get someone else for the offlane, if they want to, that's where you still see a Batrider banned out, because Nyx could rotate into a support role, and you can still pick up the Bat for the offlane for Universe.
And EG will think about it quite a bit. They'll settle on the Crystal Maiden to go with that Dazzle. Two supports that I know PPD really likes. He's a big Crystal Maiden fan. I remember way back in the Han days, the Crystal Maiden counterpart, Glacius, that was like kind of his signature hero that he played a lot. So not surprised to see that.
We
but
flamed the hero, they picked the hero.
Speak of the devil, look at that.
Well, I mean, it's not as good as Zeus, but it's not as good as Storm, but I guess Storm's banned out, so.
Yeah. Well, he's definitely not as good as Storm. That's a pretty safe statement, but interesting. So one thing that Osiris do have here is a lot of magical damage between Ice Blast, everything Zeus can do, and Earthshaker on top of that.
And no BKB heroes for EG. Like normally you want BKB core heroes, which is not your Naga Siren. Your Nyx in the offlane, you don't go BKB. It's not like a Bristleback or something where you generally build towards a BKB after your Vanguard, your mech. So hey, not a bad idea. But there's not too many Genkers as well. Apart from the Nyx, Zeus does okay against CM Dazzle.
Yeah, he should do okay against Naga as well, at least early on. I wonder what they're going to do with this final pick, though. They'll need something for the Ancient Apparition and Earthshaker, a carry of sorts.
Yeah,
Spectre would have been great here, obviously, but
some kind of a just range carry. Like there's a Mirana still in the pool if they want to go along those lines. Maybe want something with a bit more late game potential, though. But ESAA, you generally want to get a ranged carry to go with the AA Chilling Touch. But Not always. Weaver would have been good, but they banned that themselves.
Yeah, took the words right out of my mouth, man.
Yeah.
So who's left besides the Mirana, though? I mean, they'll ban out the Lifestealer here. Trying to think of
like some of those niche carries.
Could be a Dro Ranger, in all honesty. We've seen her at kind of an increasing frequency. And
not a bad option. Ooh, EG go Timbersaw. This is a Timbersaw mid, I guess. Maybe?
Well, it could be.
Do you put the Nyx? I think you put the Nyx mid and Timbersaw offlane.
And then do a tri-lane with the Naga instead of the classic mid. That could be interesting.
We'll see. EG like showing some very versatile lanes. Like they'll do something like an Arteezy hero mid, like a Naga Siren, and then they'll still pick a Puck and do like a Puck safe lane. I think it was EG who did the Puck AA dual lane in the safe lane. And
yes, I think so.
It kind of just wreaked havoc. So we could see them just go like for a CM Timbersaw safe lane with Dazzle Naga mid and Nyx offlane. Like EG just. They don't go your conventional lanes necessarily.
Yeah, and it will be a Morph
that's
lane.
who's left.
How could we forget about Morph lane?
Good old Morph.
Well, we'll see how it works out for him. Kind of an interesting draft from Osiris, though.
Or we look towards the solo mid Dazzle. Mason picks it up, so.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, the Dazzle actually is a really strong solo mid, potentially,
and not bad against Zeus either. It's going to be Osiris playing the Zeus, so he will be headed to the solo mid role and.
We'll have to look and see, but this looks like it's going to be a core position Dazzle, whether he's solo mid or safe lane farming, who knows. They could even go tri-lane, like Dazzle, Nyx CM. That's a pretty potent tri-lane if they want to try and shut down a Morphling farm.
Yeah, it is. It's very atypical, but could do a lot of damage. It will be Universe to grab the Timber Saw, and Zai is the one on the Nyx Assassin.
And Timbersaw matches up pretty well against the Nature's Prophet 1v1 matchup. He actually he starts getting kills once he hits level 6. That's where Prophet has to play, like, pretty much leave the lane. So maybe we see them send the Timbersaw bottom, offensive trail lane top. EG can lane this a number of different ways.
And I'm really happy to see Timbersaw picked up here. I think he's been a little bit underloved recently. We've seen him barely picked or banned, and he's not ideal. He was nerfed a little bit, but I still think he's a damn strong hero, especially against a strength core lineup. Osiris don't quite have that, but he still puts out a lot of damage, and he's just so mobile. I mean, 4 seconds on Timber Chain with a 1450 range at level 4 is just... It's ridiculous. There's no other hero that is quite as mobile as Timbersaw on that front.
Yeah. Well, we'll introduce our two teams now. It is going to be EG playing on the Radiant side. We've got Universe on the Timbersaw. Arteezy, he is going to be going mid based on his item build on the Naga Siren. We've got PPD playing the Crystal Maiden Mason, the stand-in on the Dazzle, he's going to be farming, and then finally Zai going to be playing a support Nyx Assassin.
And on the Dire side, we've got Team Osiris. The underdogs here, but they've been looking damn good in this round robin, and a team you shouldn't underestimate. We'll have Classic on the Earthshaker. Marlene and I were coining the phrase Classic, and well, we'll see some Sentry battle come about here, and it looks like PPD may come out ahead with a beautifully placed ward. Yeah,
Classic even choose through a Tango there as well. Now they're going to get the D ward on the Observer. That is value Sentry.
Yeah, seriously. So the rest of the Osiris lineup, it will be Osiris himself tagged up as OS playing Zeus. In the mid lane, it will be Guanzo on the Nature's Prophet. He'll be heading down to the off lane here. Up in the safe lane, it will be Pat Soul on the position 1 Morphling, and Willez will be playing on the Ancient Apparition, and he does pick up a Haste Rune here.
Oh no, Classic.
Uh-oh.
He missed the D-ward by a fraction of a hair.
Oh, wow. That's about as close as it gets without getting the actual D-ward.
And this is what you pick the Earthshaker for, to do this Ancients thing.
This Ancients thing.
Trick, whatever you want to call it. You almost need there's other places you can do it actually in your own jungle where you can fissure block the top wave into like the medium camp, like beneath the tier 2 tower, but it's a bit tricky to do it, so unless you practice it, it's kind of hard to go and do it. And it looks like Classic may be heading up top, but just if he hasn't practiced that, you can't just suddenly just spontaneously do it if you've never done it before.
Right. So, like you mentioned, it will be Arteezy mid on the Naga Siren, and Zeus, I'm not sure. I've never actually seen this matchup, Naga versus Zeus mid. I think Arteezy should be able to hold his own just fine. He's got that bottle already, so he's in pretty good shape on that front at least.
Both will bottle crow. Arteezy will bottle crow probably even more. And I don't think Arteezy... He's not going to be able to get solo killed here. It's just going to come down to support rotation. There's already an Earthshaker nearby.
And wow, nice block. Oh, not quite. Arteezy will be able to scoot by. A close call. Might have been able to grab a kill there if that was actually a block.
He would have been okay, even with the block.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah. The Zeus is just level 2. He has got a bolt as well as an arc, but those don't do much damage. ES... He doesn't get any more damage. Like, he can't even get close enough to get a right click off. But Arteezy, he's already sending us bottle back. He'll just be bottle crowing for the first good 5 to 10 minutes of this game. I mean, he just won't stop bottle crowing.
So let's take a look at these other lanes. Timbersaw doing all right. Again, being played by Universe. He's only got 1 last hit, but he's in experience range, almost level 3. So that's pretty much what you want to hope for as an off laner. How's Guanzo doing? Well, he's just now hit level 2. He went boots first. Pretty straightforward stuff. 0 and 1 on the last hit meter. And looking at the carries across the lanes, it is going to be a farming Dazzle down here in this bottom lane, which is very interesting, but I like it.
A hero that can actually scale pretty well with farm and early levels. You get the max poison touch does a lot, and a high level Dazzle with farm and items to stay alive can really be quite powerful.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see what item build he goes for with this farm priority. And for Dazzle, it's not only about the farm, but also experience. The levels are where he really benefits. All of his abilities are worth leveling up, and every game you just have to judge, what do I need here? Do I need to survive? Do I need that shallow grave? Do we want to heal? Or should I just go aggressive with that poison touch? And it looks like he'll be going an aggressive build, 3-0-1 at level, or pardon me, 2-0-1 at level 3.
Yeah, I imagine we'll see a max poison touch build. Probably something like an Arcane Boots into mech style of play. He's playing that safe lane farming role, but he's not going to be playing it like a true carry here. You've got Arteezy to fill those shoes in the mid lane. So
I would love to see a pair of phase boots come out on that Dazzle, but I doubt it'll happen. Well,
that's how you play your Dazzle?
Yeah, I usually like to get the phase boots, but yeah, you need the arcanes, and CM probably won't be looking to grab arcane boots. She tends to grab the tranks, so it makes more sense in this game for him to get the arcanes. But if you go the early phase boots though, Dazzle can hit pretty hard and be a serious lane dominator.
And even the treads are not a bad option here, like getting the +8 to stats, the attack speed. It's not a bad item choice as I disconnect. I don't know what happened.
That was, yeah.
Goodbye, Andrew.
See you later. Well, that was a fun cast. We'll check you later. Guanzo could be in a little bit of trouble. Does take a Crystal Nova. Poison Touch does connect, but they won't dive the tower. And, well, he'll be just fine. Looks like one of the other spectators is connected as well. So it's not just you.
Yeah, his server's having some fun, apparently.
Yeah. Well, as long as the players are all right, that's really what's important.
Now my camera's broken. Oh well.
Uh-oh.
Permanently scrolling to the right.
Might need to restart Dota, perhaps. That's unfortunate. But Arteezy having a pretty good time in the mid lane. He's 23-1 versus the 18-1 Zeus here. So pretty even across the board, but of course that does favor Arteezy. Even just a break even here. That is great news for the Naga. Not a lot of pressure coming his way. There's that Quelling Blade coming out. Pretty standard stuff happening across the board. 4 minutes in, still no kills. The big disparity, I think, are these offlaners. Timbersaw, although he's not farming a whole lot, only 8-0, he is getting a lot of experience. Halfway to level 5, and Guanzo, he's only barely into the beginning of level 3. So this Timbersaw will start to come online pretty quickly.
And this ES has just been unable to have any sort of an impact on this game at all. He's just been walking around. He's managed to harass Arteezy a bit at mid lane, and maybe prevent him from getting like 4 or 5 CS at most, but realistically the ES pick was entirely designed for the Ancient pull. He didn't have a backup plan with the Dire neutral pulls, which I think should have been his backup plan, but as a result he's just walking around being very ineffective.
Yeah, and the supports on our Radiant side here, Team EG, doing pretty well in the jungle. Zai pulling and getting some experience there. PPD using Crystal Maiden to the fullest of her power in the jungle with that Frostbite, which of course works very well against neutrals. And that is just good news across the board for EG. Earthshaker only level 2 right now. AA did manage to get level 4, but EG do have a little bit more experience flowing the way of their supports, which is usually a good sign in the early game. And yeah, we see it on the gold graph, about 1,200 in their favor, and even about a 1,500 experience lead here, only at the 5-minute mark without any kills or towers on the board.
Yeah, I don't think Osiris will be too worried about the gold deficit, though. Their lineup built to sort of turn things around once they hit their ultis, because they're, at the end of the day, a global lineup. They've got the AA ulti, the Zeus ulti, the Prophet ulti, 3 global ultis. Combine it with a Morphling who can kind of shop anywhere with a replica. This is a very globally present team, so they're kind of just waiting to get these level 6s, combine the ultis, then they'll start getting kills and just force EG to play pretty scared.
Yeah. You're definitely right about that. Willez is doing well in terms of experience for the supports. He has no items except the healing salve, but that's all right. He is leeching some XP from Universe as he clears out this stacked big camp. And yeah, AA hitting level 6 is always a triumphant time for a team. And Willez is well on his way.
Yeah, so as things stand, EG just getting a bit more. Like their supports are actually getting decent farm, stacking neutrals, killing it themselves. Arteezy, he's had both his actual camps blocked off by sentry wards, which is annoying for him, but he's still got to kill him at least once, and he's still doing pretty decently here in the mid lane.
Yeah, he's doing just fine. And wow, Ancient Apparition actually gets killed by a neutral. That's my bad. Looks like it was a deny there. I was looking at Arteezy. And, ooh, Zai, he is in the Roche pit. He's got not Vendetta, that's an invisibility rune. He's only level 5. Looking for an opening.
Yeah, he'll find Classic here. The Dazzle's pretty far back, but maybe they want to go for a dive.
This is just an awkward position.
He's about to say, he's way in tower range there. He was like standing still thinking, oh, they can't see me, but he was so far in tower range.
Yeah, this Dazzle build is about as aggressive as it gets. 303 at level 6.
Oh, Midas Dazzle.
Yeah, and a Midas.
I love it.
Not something you see too
You know,
often.
Dazzle it needs levels. Like, he gets a fast level 11, it's huge. Mid lane, meanwhile, they are going to looking for a kill. It looks like Zeus is in all sorts of trouble. The Fissure comes at the perfect time, but Zeus still going to go down. That's Arteezy getting a kill. The Sleep being used as well. This is just to reset their cooldown so they can go for a second kill, and it looks like they will be able to get Willis here. Impale, Sleep goes off, toggled perfectly, and Willis going to go down. Arteezy still has the Riptide if he wants to go for another kill here. He's going to get fissured on the tower. He's actually going to go down. Nicely played by Classic to get the return kill.
Classic.
Yep.
Doing it well, but Arteezy was the one to grab the first blood, and that's what's really scary. He gets all that bonus gold, and he's even got some wards in inventory right now that were pulled to him from PPD. Oh, what a great impale from Zai as Osiris and Classic hold the tower. So he still had that little bit of regen on, so it wasn't a big deal, but still a nice little impale. EG are just in great shape at this point now. That golden experience graph continuing to move in their favor. Still probably not the biggest of deals, but also space being created for Mason. Look how much damage he's done to this bottom tier 1 tower. He's got a big wave coming in. We see pings coming out, but the damage has been done, and even if they hold off this push now, it'll be a very easy push later on. It will fall into deny range, it looks like. Yep. So
Well, Mason will probably try and make a play for it. This next creep wave, yeah, he's tanking the tower himself to keep his siege creeper unit, and he gets the last hit. Nicely played. Guanzo just doesn't quite have the damage to match up to the Dazzle. Dazzle with a good almost 15-20 damage ahead of him.
Yep, up top, Willis gets engaged on Universe, actually whiffs the Timber Chain. That would have made that a very easy kill, but they turn it around, make it a 1-for-1. Ancient Apparition for Timbersaw. Now Zai may find himself in a little bit of trouble, has no Vendetta available.
Zeus is coming to cut him off too.
Yeah, this is bad news. What can the Nyx Assassin do? Does he even have a TP scroll? No, he is in no man's land with no escape. Best he can hope for here is just to waste their time, and he's doing pretty well. Ring around the rosy. He actually gets the Nature's Prophet to port up. So mission successful. This is a 4-man rotation to secure that kill.
Yeah.
Well played by the Nyx.
Waste a good amount of time. You've got your Dazzle farming at bottom. You've got Arteezy pressuring this mid-tier 1 tower, now getting it down to half HP. So it looks like Osiris are coming back in to rotate to this mid lane, but damage has already been done to mid tower, and Arteezy swings bottom. He's doing just fine. He'll probably just farm the neutrals a little bit here and then go back towards that mid lane.
Yeah, now Morphling is farming really well, but Dazzle's actually still out farming him a little bit. Obviously, Dazzle doesn't scale quite as well, but having a really good time down here in the bottom. He did opt for the power treads, not the arcane boots we were talking about, so kind of a 50-50 between the phase boots and the arcanes. You got your two extremes, and the power treads are somewhere in the middle. Pat Soul's going to be in some trouble, though. Zai is vendetted up. He'll get the backstab damage. He'll start morphing that strength, but will they have the damage to finish him off? Timber Chain forward, Chakram, Whirling Death. Now Pat Soul low on mana. He is in a bit of trouble, but Classic comes in, and he creates some space for his buddy.
Yeah. Thinking about the Timber Chain of the low gun here. The Impale gonna... Oh, just short.
That was a close call. Zai, not sure on that timer. He felt like he just needed to throw it.
Yeah. I think if he got closer, the TP would have gone out before it reached him.
Yeah,
so.
It was one of those kind of impossible situations. But credit for trying. You miss every Impale that you don't throw. And now Zai will just go up to the high ground. Actually takes a lot of damage from the Zeus Earthshaker combo, but now Universe coming in. He'll hop right on top of Osiris. There's that burst damage from the Timbersaw. Zeus trying to sip up that bottle, but won't survive the wrath of Universe. In comes Arteezy with the Song of the Siren for the reset. And Classic's in big trouble. He's only level 5.
No mana as well. Yeah.
Nowhere to go.
Arteezy will last hit it with the Riptide, and Morphling going to show up too late.
And actually, we'll see Guanzo come in. Waveform forward. That's a kill onto PPD. Universe in some trouble. Will take out the trees, but doesn't matter. Double kill coming out for Patsoul. While that was happening, Dazzle actually picked up a solo kill down bottom. I believe on the Ancient Apparition, which we didn't catch on camera.
This Dazzle owns. He's hitting hard. Like this, we don't doubt the Dazzle carry. His actual physical damage output with the Tread's attack speed, more damage coming out from the Poison Touch with a slow as well as a double stun is huge. He's just king of the mountain right now, Mason.
And he also used the Weave right there. It's still on cooldown, so that makes the Poison Touch do more damage and all those right clicks. That's just scary. It's not like Ancient Apparition has a lot of armor to start with at base 3. That ultimate is pretty darn potent.
Yeah.
So Mason now 1-0-0. He's got 80 last hits, and he's also picked up a solo tower kill. He is farmed as can be. 6,000 net worth on this Dazzle in only 11 minutes.
Yeah.
Wow.
With 600 gold, he can, if he wants to go for more team fight, he can pick up the Aghanim stuff. He's
Classic.
Oh man, Classic's in no man's land.
He's coming in. He's trying to ward up and make Arteezy's farming a bit more difficult. But the irony is he's just going to feed Arteezy another kill.
Yeah.
Mission unsuccessful.
A ulti goes flying, and that's not going to really achieve anything at all. So.
Wow. And Arteezy, 3,800 gold at the 11-minute mark. This is impressive farm.
Yeah.
You know, when I was casting with Fear, I mentioned Radiance. I was like, you know, you get like a 12-minute Radiance, and then we marveled at how silly and ridiculous how fast that is. But that's not that far off the mark here for how quickly Arteezy's going to have his Radiance.
Considering his farm has been slowed down a bit by the ES at mid, as well as having his neutrals warded, he's
very impressive.
Looking at maybe 14 minutes on this Radiant.
Yeah, very timely.
There's the global ultis.
And we'll see you later, PPD.
Yep. See him on the high ground, just getting spammed down a bit. Zai rotating in here. He's popped the Vendetta as well. May look for a kill here on Osiris, but he's not going to be able to get this one on his own. We'll need a bit of backup.
Yep.
Arteezy decides he doesn't want to commit to this camp because he knows if there's Vision or some global ultis finding him, he could be in trouble. But his bottle comes back out, he'll heal up. Meanwhile, mid lane, dewarding going on, and this means that Nyx can't really go in with a Vendetta. He knows there's a sentry here now.
Yeah, nice heads up from Zai, but he'll reveal himself. He gets caught by the fissure. In comes the waveform. Spike Carapace to buy him some time, but it's not enough. Patsoul secures that kill. He's taking heavy damage, though. Even taking tower shots, has to overcommit for the Nyx.
Oh my god. Dazzle got the kill. That's 700 gold for Dazzle.
Wow.
That was a mega kill streak.
Well, say hello to Dazzle's net worth.
Yep, there's his mech. So we did go back for a mech here, going for the team fight. Oh, Ulta's going to catch out 3 here. Universe may just get blown up.
Yep.
Does go down, and Zeus looking for Mason. Mason's got a grave. He's going to wait to use it. He'll use it now. I don't think he actually needed it. He wasn't going to blow up to the A ulti, but he's maybe afraid of like a Zeus ulti, any follow-up damage, Prophet TPing in.
Yeah, any other damage there would have secured the kill. So smart play. And I have to say I really like this build from Dazzle. I usually do the phase boots into mech, but the exact same kind of strategy. You start off in position 1, take all that farm, be a bully in lane, and then just move into a mid-game support, and it works really well. A really early mech will make this team fighting so much easier. We'll see Nyx Assassin grab a solo kill onto Guanzo up top. Poor Nature's Prophet. Nyx Assassin just is really the thorn in his side.
TZ's got his Radiance after this camp here. Just about 50 gold away from it now. We're going to be about 20 short after this camp. So, oh, there we go. He's got it. So
yeah, Radiance out. And this is where things get scary. EG have a very sizable lead already. About 5,000 gold, 2,000 experience, and Radiance hasn't even been delivered yet. And that is when Naga will start. We'll start seeing this Naga farm skyrocket on the net worth chart. Yep. And Pat Sol, he did not go a farming tool. He does have just a Perseverance working towards the Lincolns, I think, safe to say. But still quite a ways off.
Timbusor at top takes quite a bit of damage from the global ultis. A ulti plus a Wrath of Nature, but he's going to be okay.
And a Zeus ult as well.
Mech comes in, heal comes in, he's pretty much back to full HP.
Yeah, such a smart choice. And even though Mech doesn't really synergize that well against the Ancient Apparition, still a good item pickup and does come in handy when Ice Blast isn't on.
Yeah, it's one of those, I don't think AA necessarily counters healing heroes much like a lot of people think he does with his ultimate, because his ultimate does AoE damage. If it doesn't finish people up, you just mech once it's worn off and you heal off. So in a lot of ways, mech is still good against an AA.
Yes.
Oh, mid lane, Universe walks into it.
Will it be enough? It's going to be close. I think he's going to
This is level 1. I don't think so. He needs a bit more. One more. It's going to, just alive.
Just short.
1 or 2 more ticks.
I wish there was a button you could toggle to see the percentage so you can see truly how close he is to shattering.
Yeah.
It's a percentage threshold.
You get below 10%.
10%, yeah.
I think he needed 2 more ticks there.
But, again, space creation. Top tier 1 tower does fall. Dazzle got the last hit on that tower as well. Jesus, Mason has gotten 2 tower hits now. 2, 0, and 1. He ended that long streak on Morphling. Just when you think he can't get more farmed, he's tangoing with that Naga up at the top of the net worth chart, and we'll see a rotation towards the top tier 2. Zai presses forward, reveals the Vendetta, does connect with an Impale onto Willez, and there's a Poison Touch to follow up. PPD taking heavy damage. They may turn this around to make it a 1-for-1. Indeed they do. Zai not out of the clear yet. He'll fall to the Zeus. And now Mason, he's in big trouble. He does have a Grave. Will mech first.
Oh, Echo Slam. Just to make sure. He doesn't actually have the totem just yet. He's still, ES just hasn't got the levels to level it up, so he makes sure they get the kill with the Echo Slam.
Yeah, EG just getting a little bit hyper-aggressive there. It ends up being a 1-for-3. All that just for the Ancient Apparition. Probably thinking Osiris just wouldn't have that vigorous of a rotation to deal with them. But
yeah.
Not too bad. They still have a sizable lead.
It's a great trade for Osiris and all, but like Naga Siren's just not getting involved. He's got Boots of Travel Radiance.
Yeah.
The farming and Rat Dota has begun. His net worth hitting 10k at 16 minutes in, 600 plus GPM. That's pretty colossal coming out from RTZ.
Yeah, very impressive. Classic RTZ. But following those kills, Classic himself, he'll grab his Arcane Boots, so that's a step in the right direction for the Earthshaker. He had a very rocky start and is now making a decent recovery. The question is, will it be enough? Morphling is actually 5-1 and 0, so even though he didn't go a farming tool, Pat Sol has been pretty active, and his farm is, well, not quite as high as that of the Naga, but doing okay. PPD will get initiated on once again, the waveform forward, and they'll be able to finish him off. Nyx Assassin picked off the Earthshaker while that was happening, and RTZ will use the ultimate to set things up. Will they go for an initiation? Yes, they will. See ya, Guanzo. And now Pat Sol might be their target of choice. There's the Ensnare onto the Morphling. And will they have enough damage to bring him down? We see the Nyx Assassin getting picked off around the backside, and Morphling falls as well. Now Universe tangoing with Osiris. This is multiple mini-fights breaking out, but EG will come out way ahead. Universe is trying to bide time. That Force Staff onto the high ground from Zeus.
Oh, he's got the bolt. No, he doesn't get the bolt off on the Universe. Universe, I think, would have been okay. He had just enough HP after the Dazzle heal. That heal from the Dazzle, I think he got hit by a mech, actually helping him out there a lot. But that was still close. Yeah. Zeus made a nice little Force Staff to the high ground and tried to follow it up with a bolt plus ulti, but
it was a noble effort.
Yeah. This whole game's been a pretty noble effort from Osiris. I mean, looking at the kill scores, they're fighting. They're still in this game by a bit. RTZ takes a lot of damage from a chain ulti. He's gonna walk. Oh, Guanzo's here with the Shadow Blade. One right click, get him.
Get him. There
we go.
That's the Shadow. That's the kill that they've been looking for.
That's my boy Guanzo.
Interesting to see him go the Shadow Blade. An item that we don't see all too often. We were talking about that on in the studio the other day. about how since it's been nerfed, it's just when we were interviewing Bulldog, it's just not what it used to be.
Yeah, he didn't say it was underpowered. He seemed to think it was still pretty good.
Yeah.
And that's why we see Prophet still sometimes getting here and there. It just forces your opponents to buy more Sentry's Dust, especially when there's no other invis on your team. If you've got like a Weaver and stuff, they're going to probably be getting a gem regardless, but it's a pretty nice pickup.
Yeah.
Helped out there, at least.
Down bottom, Zai. He's going to get sandwiched. I'm not sure how good Bugs taste, but it looks like they will be able to finish him off, or maybe not. He's going to turn it around onto Guanzo.
What a player.
Holy Toledo. Yeah, Zai showing us what he's made of right there.
Yep.
And he makes it a 1-for-1, so a pretty break-even exchange. Off-laner for off-laner. Nicely done.
Yeah. Nicely done indeed.
Well, I guess Timbersaw was technically their off-laner, but
yeah.
So that's really technically a support Nyx assassin, so even better for EG.
Yeah, Prophets did not want to spread himself inside with the Nyx. Ill-advised for your health.
Great use of the Spike Carapace, though. The timing was just spot on.
Yeah, he blocked the waveform damage as well, which helped him stay alive. If he gets hit by the waveform damage, he goes down a lot faster.
Yeah.
Doesn't actually stun Patsol, an interesting mechanics thing. You can trigger it, and it's actually a pretty good thing for a Morphling, because it means you can wave in on Nyx, you don't actually get stunned, and then you don't have to get... Then you can keep on right-clicking him afterwards. But at the same time, for Nyx, it's like, oh, you blocked a good 300 damage.
Yeah, that's a fair point. It's one of those kind of counters on both sides of the fence. Both sides walk away happy. Morphling doesn't get stunned, and Nyx doesn't take a hell of a lot of damage. But Zeus, I like the build he's going for here. Arcane Boots into Fort Staff, now just straight into Veil of Discord. And he's not too far off the mark. He's got the Null Talisman and that Helm of Iron Will already. And just all around, I think, a great item. It's always a little painful when you see a Zeus go for an Ag Scepter. It's rare, you don't see it often, but just not good. Veil is so much better.
Yeah, Veil does a lot more damage up when you need the mobility to stay alive. That 4-staff, Blink, even items like Yules are really good on Zeus, I find.
Yep, I like Yules on that hero as well.
Getting close. Gonna hit a 2-hero Impale. No follow-up damage, though.
Still zones him out a little bit, and they'll put some pressure on this tower. Not too bad.
Looks like a dead tower at the moment, but with a couple ultis being changed here, there's no AA ultis, the big thing, so...
Yep.
I gotta wait for that one.
And Nature's Prophet, he's stuck on the high ground right now. Does have a teleport up. And he'll actually go down bottom. He'll join Patsol. They'll do a little bit of split pushing here, it seems. Arteezy may be rotating down to try and deal with it. He does have a Yasha now in the inventory following those Boots of Travel. And, of course, the Radiance that we've already made plenty mention of. Some damage coming out on top. It looks like Osiris can hold this tower for now. And both sides will actually retreat back to safety here. EG will be more interested in saving their bottom tier 1 tower. Looking for the setup with Arteezy. He'll catch Guanzo and Patsol.
Do they see Guanzo, though? I don't think... No detection.
Nope.
I think it's just Patsol. And with the Link... Actually, they catch up Guanzo here. Cell Sprout. Nothing to get vision, though.
Yeah, Zai unfortunately uses that Impale just a little too early. And Classic could actually be in some trouble here. Zai presses forward. And, oh, the Impale off the mark. He thought it was the kill. He turns around. It doesn't happen. Zeus does some damage. Compliments of that ult.
That's actually Zeus dying up top here. Mason may be in a bit of trouble here. Looks like Universe has gotten himself 2 kills as well. Mason does go down. The AA right clicks.
Wow.
That's a good chunk of gold going Willers' way. He does end up taking a fall, though.
Yeah.
His 7th death of the game, unfortunately.
Yeah, multiple fights coming out at the same time, but it will be a 3-for-3 across the map, and really kind of a break even. Not much follow-up after that, except the tier 1 tower down bottom. Morphling will finish off, then he ports up top. So I guess that actually does go the way of Osiris.
Yeah, both carries staying alive, so you've got Arteezy who's still farming away, your Morphling who's still looking for that next item, probably the Ethereal Blade, but Naga Siren's just such a faster farmer once you've got the Radiance and Max Illusions. And he's got enough money for his Manta Style now, which I imagine he just picks up. I don't see any reason to go for any other item.
And Dazzle now with an Ultimate Orb in the inventory. I would guess that that'll be a Scythe of Ice, but it could also be a Linken's. Another item that I think is a little bit underrated on Dazzle. It can be hard to farm, which is one of the reasons you don't see it too frequently, but it just makes him so tanky, and of course gives you that support utility. You can put the buff on your Naga. Just all around a solid item.
Not many spells to block, though, this game.
Yeah, that's a fair point. It would block,
I agree with the Linken's being good, but like you're blocking a Morphling, maybe the Shotgun, a Zeus
Fissure,
Lightning Bolt.
Zeus Lightning. It doesn't block Zeus ult, correct?
I know it doesn't.
Thunder God's Wrath, right? I didn't think so.
So
yeah,
there's no
the best choice
big
here.
spells. I mean, the biggest one is going to be the Morphling Shotgun when he has it, but that's not really a reason alone to buy a Linken.
Yes. Yeah, fair enough. So perhaps it will be a sheep, but there you go. Veil Discord up on Zeus.
Alrighty. Game on. Maybe.
Game
I
on.
don't know about game on. But Zeus's damage output's pretty scary in these fights. He's also very squishy, though, and that's where EG will often be hunting him out. This Nyx, once he has his 4-staff or Blink Dagger, actually, he's probably going 4-staff with this Staff of Wizardry, but could even be going for a Dagon, but...
Yeah.
Oh, he's going to find Guanzo in the Ancients.
Oh, yeah, there he is. I thought they were going to try and engage on Fear up top because he's all by his lonesome, but they don't press out.
EG is... Oh, they're going to go hunting mid. Arteezy's popped the song, and that's just going to be an AA kill. Or maybe more.
Or
he's going to go to the high ground. He's yeah.
He scouts it out, spreads the illusions. The rest of his team will start to come in. Nature's Prophet will actually buy back now. Willez taking a lot of damage. They'll grab a kill onto the Earthshaker as well as the Ancient Apparition. Now Pat Sol in some trouble. They'll use the Poison Touch to break the Lincolns. He does have a Ghost Scepter here. A great use of the waveform. Disjoints the net. And that will be enough for him to survive. Well played by Pat Sol.
Yeah, Guanzo bought back, which was a bit unnecessary there.
Hasty,
he bought back, TP'd bottom. Like, he can push this out and pressure the bot lane, but he's not going to get a tower out of this. So that's a big chunk of gold loss, 750 gold loss, and all he's achieved is maybe a bit of pressure. He's not actually farming and just pushing out this wave and taking away farm from either his teammates or even himself later on in the game.
Yeah, Osiris is in trouble in the mid lane. Arteezy presses forward, does some damage.
Arteezy was in trouble. He was going to lose that man fight there
Yeah.
if he kept on going in, but...
Yeah, support was inbound, though. I think he was just trying to bait out that Zeus so his team could follow up. The Zai throws a blind impale, doesn't connect. Again, a noble effort here from the Nyx Assassin, but uh-oh, he can be in a little bit of trouble. Spike Carapace buys him some time. In comes Pat Sol. There's the Vendetta. And not enough.
Nice shotgun from the, well, not the shotgun,
Nice
but
use
just
of
the
the
adaptive
Zeus
strike.
ultimate, yeah, to give him vision.
And Guanzo at bottom lane still just pressuring things out here. Is actually a forced Arteezy to go back to Fountain to heal. Not that Arteezy will mind too much.
And yeah, he'll just go ahead and pour it out.
This is the problem for Osiris' lamp. They're so magic damage based. Sure, there's no BKB heroes on the Radiant side. I mean, Timbersaw does okay with the BKB, but he's gone for Pipe, and this is going to block a lot of this nuke magic damage. And this is all really EG need is Pipe mech, and they can kind of push and fight as 5 now.
Yeah, Pipe is absolutely huge right here. And how close is Morphling to grabbing that E-Blade? Still a little ways off the mark, so the shotgun won't be a reality quite yet. Yeah, things still looking very good for EG. The gold graph has just been continually moving up in their favor, now upwards of about 15,000. So even though they've been getting maybe a little sloppy with these engagements, conceding some deaths that are maybe unnecessary, they're still in great shape, and Naga is still farming out of control. We see illusions all over the jungle, continuing to harass Osiris. And these illusions are reasonably tanky at this point.
Oh, illusions can just crush the Osiris. So they've got all these squishies with just bad ways of dealing with illusions. ES loses a third or a quarter of his HP every time an illusion hits him with a Riptide plus Radiance damage. Same for your Zeus, AA, even your Nature's Prophet. Like, the only hero that can kind of stand up a little bit to them is the Morphling.
Oh,
so
Arteezy, he ports down bottom. He catches Guanzo with the ultimate, and this should be a pretty easy solo kill. Arteezy is level 16, gets stuck inside. Does he have the net? Oh, yes, he does. That's a solo kill on the Nature's Prophet. Easy peasy for Arteezy.
Yeah. Arteezy, man, can't fight this guy. He knows what he's doing. On the bright side for Osiris, they've lasted longer than Liquid.
Yeah, that is
as well as Dog. They've lasted longer than Liquid and Dog combined, I want to say.
Yeah.
Dog lost in 9 minutes to EG. Liquid lost in like 14 or 15.
Yep. In this round robin, I think Osiris and Revenge are the two most underrated teams.
Oh yeah.
In terms of people don't know a lot about them, and they're really good. I mean, they might not have won that many games, like their records aren't that impressive, but every game that they've lost,
5-1.
Yeah, 5-1.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the outlier. Maybe Osiris is more the example, but even the games that they've lost, they've been close games. They haven't been like the EG Liquid game we saw yesterday, to cite an example of a was it 14-1 blowout, something to that effect.
Yes.
Very unfortunate. So we'll see Zai try and engage onto Classic. He'll walk by a Sentry Ward, but what's Classic to do? He does have a dunk available. There's the Dagon from Nyx, and, well, see you later, Classic.
Yowzers. And Morphling around in the jungle as well. He's got his Ethereal Blade now once he can get to the shop and buy it, so has some killing potential, but most of these Radiant heroes are so tanky. Dazzle, 1500 HP. Nyx, 1200 HP with a Carapace. Naga, tanky. Timbersaw, tanky. It's only the Crystal Maiden who I think Morphling can kill with a shotgun.
Yeah, and again, that's one of those things where, oh, Nyx.
That's the global ulti. That's the thing, like, EG will maybe, they're going to keep losing heroes here and there because of all these global ultis, but Osiris are just falling further and further behind in farm.
Oh, Arteezy with a haste rune up top. He'll chase down Pat Sol. He's already procced the Lincolns. And there's the defensive waveform, and Arteezy, he'll have no reservations about using this ultimate.
He made let's say he's going
to change his mind here.
He goes high ground thinking, oh, I can get this kill, but then he sees like 3-4 heroes also con the sleep. Oh, crap.
Yeah, that was probably the smart play, I think, to just head back to the well, reset a little bit, not get too hyper-aggressive. 3,200 gold, level 2 Diffusal Blade now up on the Arteezy Naga Siren. So that mana burn even more potent, and I'm still waiting to see what Dazzle picks up here. It will be the Scythe of Ice, not that Linken's that I was thinking about, and I think the Scythe of Ice does make a lot more sense here, as you were mentioning.
Yeah, another just way. Lock down the Morphling, break the Linkens with a Poison Touch, pop him with the Hex.
Yep.
He's also gone back for a Drums, which I didn't even notice he ever had, so...
Yeah.
Mason just making items out of nothing here, and he's still well behind Artesia on net worth, but he's 14k. He's ahead of the Morphling.
He's still ahead of the Morphling.
That's the big thing. You're ahead of a Morphling as a Dazzle. Even as a safe lane farmer, like, Dazzle does not flash farm like a Morphling does.
Yeah, that Hand of Midas. Nature's Prophet again. He's just that mobile ward right now, standing on the plateau.
Nowhere safe else to farm, I guess.
I guess so.
EG are Roshing, so Osiris maybe thinking about making a play on this one. This is all they can really rely on is an AoE team fight here. They'll throw the ultis, the AA Ice Blast. They want to proper Zeus and Prophet ultimate. They will do so. They chain it pretty well, but the pipe comes in, blocking the Prophet ulti.
Man, classic. He's in trouble as Zai picks him off. Naga Siren.
Oh, Morphling just died.
He gets soloed by Artesia. Neither of them are even paying attention to Roche. So
it's pretty hard for Morphling like that. He can't 1v1 against this Naga Siren. The ensnare procs the Linkens, and then you Diffusal Blade him. The Diffusal slows him down so all your illusions can kill him off.
Jesus. Artesia is just soloing the game up here. He's going to push the
it's all over.
Top tier 3, and yeah, what can Osiris do? EG don't even care about Roche. They'll press forward and just grab more hero kills.
Decent showing from Osiris. Like, at no point did it really look like they were in this game with a true contest, but they still put up a good fight. Like, the entire gold graph was just up, 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 up. But it was still like a all-around solid performance from Osiris.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, 30 to 20 is admirable. They put up some fight, they picked up some kills.
You know, a few other things, if a few things went their way, it would have been a much closer game. Like, if ES actually got his Ancients creep divert on the bottom lane, you deny a lot of farm from your Dazzle, you win that bottom lane. They did okay enough mid, like Zeus traded farm with your Naga. And as far as top lane went, Morphling was free farming. So I think if the main thing that didn't go Osiris' way was the ES. He was very useless that first 10-15 minutes of the game. And if he had his Ancient pull available to him, I think it would have been a much closer game than what we saw here. This was not exactly a close game, but Osiris still put up a good showing.
Yeah.
Just a bit of inexperience.
Yeah, and you know, you've got to give EG some credit for how effective they shut down that Earthshaker. And also maybe a small bit of RNG with those early wards. That huge value ward, and the Earthshaker tried to block it again, and that's, I think, the closest I've ever seen a ward dropped and not counter it. Like, it was right there.
ES made the mistake of also just trying to deward it right, like, as soon as it's planted. And that's where Zai's still around. He's like, well, you put a sentry ward there, I just deward you. And he's got to go fishing in the trees to find the sentry ward. So you're better off waiting until the Dazzle or the Crystal Maidens have gone back to lane or gone back to the Radiant Jungle, and then you drop the sentry. So
yeah, that's...
he made a bit of a misplay there with the dewarding.
Yeah.
Happens. He'll look back at the replay and say, oh, that's what happened. This is what I need to do next time.
Learning experience.
And hey, Osiris, they win tomorrow. They're into the playoffs, so we may see more of Osiris. Well, we'll definitely see at least one more game with them.
Yeah. So, very interesting. That wraps up our coverage today, and we got to see a Zeus. So, I'm sure Merlini wasn't watching, but if he was casting, he would have been happy. See his signature hero get a little bit of love. But that's it for us today, gods. What's the next broadcast? We've got EU coming up tomorrow, right? You're our scheduling guy.
EU's got
is tomorrow 25th? A break day for EU?
Tomorrow we've got NA. Only NA tomorrow.
NA tomorrow.
Yep.
Okay.
Tomorrow we've got our final day of Starladder America, guys. So everything comes down to tomorrow. The schedule is going to be... The last game's EG versus Osiris. We've got EG versus Revenge. We've got EG versus Osiris, and then we've got... two teams have a day off, though.
Let's see. It's...
CNB get a default win against Dignitas. So then we have Liquid versus Team Dog,
Osiris versus EG, and EG versus Revenge.
So Liquid versus Dog will be winner of that advances to the playoffs, and then if Osiris win, they may be tied with someone. They could they're already tied with Liquid and Dog. So if Osiris win, they're in the playoffs. But if Osiris lose, then we see a three-way tie for fourth place between loser of Liquid and Dog, Osiris, as well as EHUG. So we could have a three-way tie for fourth place.
Wow.
So a three-way tie for one spot. And then if they need more head-to-head matches, they may play some more matches.
Yeah, do we know what happens in a tiebreak scenario? Does it come down to who beat who? Is it another mini round robin?
First is head-to-head. So if one team beat both the other two teams, they advance, and then you look at the head-to-head between the other two teams.
Okay.
But if the chances it's like a rock, paper, scissors scenario between the three teams where everyone beat one team, then we have to have more matches. Because there's no way to...
Yeah, you can't go into time or kills or something.
No, that's screw time rating.
That's silly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's silly. So
there's a chance head-to-head will decide it. I'm not sure what the actual head-to-head.
Yeah, I'd have to look at the grid. I can't remember all the matches off the top of my head. But
cool.
That's it for us today. We'll see you guys for the conclusion of Starladder NA tomorrow. No EU, and that's it. BTS signing off for today.